You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong. Author and cerebral palsy advocate Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Ask When, everyone. Today I have Ben with me, and I'm going to let Ben take it away and share his story. So welcome, Ben.
Thank you so much. Grateful to be on this show. My name is Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Right now, I am talking about a book that I just wrote called Personality Isn't Permanent. And it's a book that explains how people get stuck and about how change is possible. And yeah, it's an interesting book that kind of explains one of the things that I talk about in the book is how personality tests like Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, the popular personality tests, first off, they're not very scientific, but more importantly, they actually create a fixed mindset in people. When you overly adopt a label to your identity, then what you do is you try to defend that label or justify that label, and you become very inflexible to anything outside of the label. And where the research has gone in personality and just in other places is this idea of your future self. Your future self is a different person than you are today. And it's a lot better to make decisions based on who your future self is rather than who you've overly defined yourself as today. And really, you are going to be a different person in the future, just like you're not the same person you were in the past. And so this book kind of just breaks down how you can refine your past or how you can reframe any traumas that you've had. And it also explains how you can design and imagine your future self and then go through a deliberate process of becoming that person.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I have taken a Myers-Briggs, and for those of you that don't know what a Myers-Briggs is, Google it, look it up, and you will see. I have also taken in my lifetime the Learning Connections Inventory, the LCI, which the LCI is similar to a Myers-Briggs, and I found that more credible than the Myers-Briggs, because a lot of people think that the Myers-Briggs can set them off on a journey. No, it's your mindset and your attitude towards your mindset than anything else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love what you're saying.
I mean, so this interesting show about the Myers-Briggs is not credible, you guys. I have been looking at brain plasticity and through my journalism program, believe it or not, and through the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset, and what the fixed mindset believes, and Ben, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that we're all stuck in one place. The growth mindset believes that we should try new things.
Definitely. Yeah, your growth mindset is the belief that you can change. And obviously, if you believe that things can change, you've got hope. You've got hope in some different future. It's really important to have a future. It's without a sense of future, you kind of get disoriented. You don't know where you're at, and you can't make quality decisions. And so usually if someone's gone through trauma or they're deep in an addiction, they've kind of given up on their future, and they need encouragement and support, and you need hope, and you can't actually have motivation without hope. And so a fixed mindset is kind of giving up on a future in various areas. You've overly defined yourself. You don't believe you can change. And as a result, you don't actually imagine a future version of yourself in that area that's developed. And so you stop growing as a person. You're defined by the past, not by the future.
So, okay. Now I have a curiosity killed cat question. As a journalist and as a person who's gone through trauma and who's also gone through psychology herself now, me, as for, I would say, about a good year and a half. And so started in 2019. So if you're suffering an addiction, let's say alcohol and drugs, let's just put it out there, alcohol and drugs, do you not see yourself having a future? You see yourself in a stuck mindset? Do a lot of people who have addictions see themselves in a stuck mindset?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the reasons why they engage in such, difficult, negative behaviors, is because they've kind of given up on their future, at
Okay.
least in different ways, like at different times. When you start to lose hope in yourself, or when you start to lose the belief that you can, that you can have a great life, or that you're normal. I mean, maybe you've had some failures or some obstacles in the past, and so as a result, you've decided that you're not really worth that much, and you stop believing that things can be great for you.
Yeah.
Then you engage in behaviors that are harmful, not only to your current self, but to your future self.
And then you take it out on what can addicts take it out on other people? I will say why I say that statement in a couple minutes, but can people who are addicted to something like alcohol and cocaine, could they take their depressive state out on other people?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sometimes
Okay,
when you're hurt, you hurt other people.
okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, if you're hurt and you haven't resolved your trauma and your pain, then sometimes that can lead you to hurting other
Well,
people.
that answers that. That answers that, you guys. Why I personally got emotionally abused on June 23rd, 2019. Almost turned physical. Thank God it. Thank heavens it didn't. I had the surroundings of three three witnesses to the two people that emotionally abused me. And yeah, let's just say I was emotionally abused by two family members who I am not speaking with, and they know it too. And so, and one has skeletons in the closet of heavy drinking and heavy cocaine issues. So that's why I'm wondering, because the cocaine use and the drinking, she's not seeing a brighter future for herself. And yet she took it out on me because she thought that it would have been better. Uh huh. You just answered. Um, Ben, you just answered a heck of a lot of questions in my own mind here.
Yeah, I mean, this may be a little challenging right now because I know that you've been hurt, but what this family member needs from you, even though it may be difficult, is rather than judgment, even though they hurt you, the best thing you can do for yourself and for that person, even though it may be hard, is to forgive them and to have empathy towards them, because the reason they hurt you is not because they're a bad person, but because they're in pain themselves. And so, when someone's an addict or when someone's struggling, they need empathy and love, even if sometimes they're doing things that are harmful to you and to others. they need love and empathy, and that can be difficult. It can be very difficult.
Yes, especially when this person hurt me and witnesses know it, and I am still traumatized. But I tell you what, you guys, if this particular family member comes out of the woodwork, I am going to give her as much grace and space as I can and be there for her because she, even though she took it out on me, I think the addicts need as much support as they can. And a lot of what I've learned through this process and through counseling is that a lot of addicts don't can't see the forest for the trees, and then they don't have the family support.
Exactly.
And that's why after my journalism degree, you guys, I'm actually going to pursue a degree in psychology because I have learned in my own ways that I need to now help the disabled. But Ben, if you had to move house and could only take 5 things with you, what would they be?
I would take my journal. I'd take my family. I'd take my phone. I would take my wallet. And I don't know. Maybe a good book, maybe like scriptures or
Yeah.
just a good book. I'm not sure what I'd bring.
And what is your favorite book and what is the title?
What is my favorite book?
Yes.
Ooh. Let's go with I have a new favorite book every week. I do like the scriptures. I guess you could just say the Bible.
Ah, the Bible.
I mean, that's kind of a classic, right?
That's a classic. That's a classic, but the Bible still counts. The Bible still counts. And if your best friend had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. It would be if my best friend wrote a book about me.
Yes.
That's a really interesting question. Probably, family man with 5 kids.
Family man with 5 kids. I love it. And so, what is your morning routine?
My morning routine is I wake up usually 5 or about 5, drink a smoothie of some sort, head to my office listening to audiobook of some sort, and then I write in my journal and exercise, and then I start working.
And so that is your morning routine, and that was pre-world pandemic, pre-coronavirus. I presume it's a little bit different right now that all your kids are home as well.
Yeah, our 5 kids are home.
Yeah, the 5 kids are home. Now, are they doing homeschooling? I mean, how's that going?
Everything's going great. Yeah, we're enjoying being home together. How's everything going for you?
Every, everything is going well. Considering I'm in shelter in place mode, as you guys know, my life hasn't really changed. Although I am still doing the remote work, I am still going to school online because my school, the school where I'm acquiring my journalism degree from, was a online school to begin with. So that didn't change. So other than the shelter in place, my life hasn't changed and my aides are still coming up, and they're still helping me. And yeah. Now,
That's
Glenn,
great. I'm glad that your life is going well.
do I miss going to the gym? Of course I do. Do I miss going out?
I do. I miss going to the gym and I miss going to restaurants.
Yeah, but it's as long as we can keep us some sense of normalcy, we're doing fine. Whereas other people, and when I say I meet with the psychologist, that has turned into telehealth. And so now some people are getting bored and stir crazy. Others are just dealing with what they can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, Ben, do you have any questions for me as we wrap this interview up?
Why did you decide to start a podcast?
I wrote a book many, many years ago now, over 10 years ago. And I decided, great, now that I published the book, how the heck am I going to market this book? So I decided to start a podcast. At the time, I was listening to a book-related podcast called The Creative Pen by Joanna Penn. It's still in existence today, and I was lucky enough to be interviewed by her way back when. And so I just thought that podcast was the best thing since sliced bread. And so that's why I've decided to start a podcast, and I've been doing it for over 5 years now.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you're an inspiration to me. What is your number one goal right now?
To get my journalism degree and then take a break and get my feet on the ground for journalism, and then possibly go get my I should say possibly, because now it's definitely go get my psychology degree out of Arizona State University or Southern New Hampshire University, focusing on either general psychology degree or focusing on childhood psychology. And I'm going to be primarily focusing on those with special needs.
Wow. That's inspirational. Well, thank you for letting me be on your show. I loved being with you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you guys for tuning in and sharing it. And then, let's see how this works. And Ben, where can people find you / find your new book?
They can find it on just by looking up Personality Isn't Permanent, and they can get the book anywhere online. So Personality Isn't Permanent. My website's benjaminhardy.com.
Well, thank you, Ben. And you guys should look up Personality Isn't Permanent. And please, please, please leave a review on Ben's book. I don't care if it's self-published. I don't care if it's small press publishing. I don't care if it's traditionally published. All the authors out there, including myself and Ben, need help with promoting their books. So what you guys can do is leave a review, and it doesn't have to be a 5-star review. It just has to be an honest review. And thanks to you guys. Bye, you guys.
You just listened to Ask Win, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwin.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at WinKellyCharles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Wynn's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Wynn, the podcast.